I'm Lindsay. I'm the marketing director at Chicago Title. So I get to work with Deidre and our Chicago Title team, and so my role is basically teaching all of you all of the fun, latest digital marketing, social media tricks. Today we're going to be using Canva, and I did have a question in the back before we get started today about using Canva free versus paid, right? So today I hope most of you seem to have your laptops to kind of follow along. Open up Canva. Now what we're going over today is creating a website through Canva. It is free, and whether you're a free user or a paid user, you can do this. So this is one of my favorite things about Canva is yes, there's a lot of free or paid there's a lot of things that are different between the free user and the paid user. Some of them, which are some of the templates, you don't have access to as a free user. As a paid user, you have access to all the templates, right? Another one of the big features is resizing things, and I'll talk through that as we go along. So let's say you had a social media post, and you're like, oh, now I want to convert it to be a flyer, or I want it to be a postcard, right? For the paid version, you can resize everything and not have to recreate it multiple times. I think that's one of the big draws to the paid version. And then also, they have a lot of new AI tools. So I'm sure you guys have heard a lot about artificial intelligence recently. Canva has a full suite. It's called their Magic Studio, that they are really focusing on AI features, and that is going to be a paid thing. Now the free users, you can still do what we're going over today. So if you only have the free account, you're set. If you want the paid, it's $20 a month if you pay for the full year up front. So $120. No, it's $12. I'm like, that math doesn't make sense. Yeah, it's about $120 for the year. So definitely worth it if you are going to be using this tool frequently. Any other questions on the free versus the paid before we dive in?
Yeah. Doesn't the paid, and I don't think the free does, allow you to save your style, your colors?
Yes.
So you only have to go look up that long color code once from my own group.
Exactly. So over here on the left, if you did, it's kind of hard to see, but over here on the left, this button is called your brand kit, and it has a tiny little crown next to it. So anytime you see that crown, that means it is a paid feature. So correct. What Craig was saying is you can upload all of your colors, fonts, logos, etc. into a brand kit and have it kind of auto-populate each time you're creating a new design, so it knows to use your colors. So that is another big draw to using that paid account. But yeah, we'll get started here talking about creating your website. As I mentioned, free or paid users can do this. There are going to be a couple differences, and I'll go through those, free versus paid. But to get started, over here I've got a couple that are opened up. I'm going to go through the how-to, and then when we're done with the how-to, I'm going to send you guys links to my templates, and we can all start to kind of build some in here together, and I can help you and walk around. But to get started, I'm going to go through two separate ways to begin. The first one is creating a presentation. So if you've ever seen in Canva, presentation. So if I click presentation right here, presentation is sized. You can see the specs that it's sized at right here. Forget the exact dimensions. I think it's like 1980 by 1080, something like that. But it's a long white blank rectangle. On the left-hand side, you have all these different templates that you can choose from for a presentation. So when you hear presentation, think PowerPoint, right? It's more or less, this is a PowerPoint, is what you can create. And the reason why people will create their presentations in Canva is there's just a lot of really nice designs. Versus if I went to Microsoft PowerPoint, a lot of them are kind of dated, right? And then we don't have a big selection to choose from. So a lot of people will start, or they'll build their presentations here in Canva. And so as I go through, you can see all the different templates right here, some right here. multiple pages, right? This presentation, and I'm gonna come right here. Here's a presentation I created, and you're gonna get the link to this if you want to kind of build your own off of this template. Each page in the presentation, so think again, PowerPoint presentation, and each slide, we can kind of talk about it that way, each slide is a different page on the website. So when you're visiting a website, right at the top, you have all the different tabs. If you've got your home, about me, right, you have all the different tabs at the top of your website. Now, think about each one of these pages. They're going to be a different tab on your website, right? So that is what the presentation will look like all said and done. So if I go back to my blank design here, I'm just going to type in the word real estate, because there's lots of real estate templates already in here. So maybe I like, and you can kind of go through and see what the different ones look like. Maybe I like this one. And so I'm going to hit apply, and notice it says pro, right? So that means that it is for a paid user only. So if you are a free user, you won't be able to use this template. There are free ones available, there's just not as many. So if I hit apply, now I've got my first page. All right, there we go. They're all updated. So this kind of looks similar to what I have built, right? This was a template, and so each one of these, remember, is going to be a different tab on your website. Now this is one of the ways that you can get started. If you are a free user, you won't be able to publish this as a website because right now it is called a presentation. If you are a paid user, you have access to this resize button, right? Because it's got a crown. So if you're a paid user, you can click resize, and I can resize it as website. And that's the trick here, is we want whatever design that we're building, today's website, right? We want it to be a website. So what I'm doing right now is I'm taking a presentation and I'm converting it to be a website. It has to be a website for me to publish it online, right? If it's just a presentation, I can't publish that online. It has to be a website. So I hope that piece makes sense. So what I'm doing again is I'm a paid user. I'm a paid user converting PowerPoint presentation, more or less, over to website. And so when I do that, I'm going to hit resize. And once I do it, resize, now all of a sudden, you see right here, now it says it's a website. And so that will give me the green light to be able to publish it. Notice it looks a little different, right? Like the buttons are here on the left and everything kind of flows together. That's normal, right? This is now how I know it's a website and not a presentation. Again, you can only do this if you are a paid user. Now, why would we do that? The reason I'm showing you this way is because there's a lot of templates in presentation size. If I go, let's go back home. I'm just going to go back to canva.com. It wants to load. Again, presentation, there are a lot of templates already built out in presentation mode. That is why I'm showing you this. As you can see, 20,000. That is why I'm showing you this direction. Because if you're a free user, remember, you don't have that resize button. So you won't even, just forget everything I just said if you're a free user. But if you're paid, that is why I'm showing you this, is there are a lot of really good templates in presentation size. Now let's fast forward, and now we're going to talk to the free users, free and paid, both of you. I wouldn't start with presentation. I am going to start, let's go back, with website. See, there's website right here on the right. So instead of me going presentation, convert to website, I'm going to skip that step, and I'm just going to do website. Because if I'm a free user, I don't have that resize button. I can't convert it. So I just have to start automatically from website. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, what you're using, if you pay, the benefit is because the presentation is already like broken down?
Yes, that is a benefit. I personally, we're gonna look at the two. So remember, this is presentation mode, and then this is website mode. I think this is a little easier, personally, on my eyes, to kind of navigate around. You can do all the same functions on website, and I'll show you how. But I personally like presentation mode better. I like building it out. I like putting all of my pages together in presentation mode, and then when all said and done, then I'll convert it to website. I think that's a little bit of an easier user experience personally, but all the same functions you can still do in website mode. It just, the screen looks a little bit different. The buttons are in different places. Yeah.
Also, I just went to a page because I was frustrated with making flyers. The flyers are so updated format, and you can see the paid version had more modern look.
Yeah.
They're just more attractive.
Absolutely. There are really a lot more options when it comes to the different templates in the paid. I personally, I converted to the paid version many years ago, but the number one reason why was this resize button. I thought the resize button was worth the $12 because if you have, like I said, if you have a social media post and you're like, I don't want to recreate the wheel and turn it into a flyer, I just, one click of a button, I say I want it in flyer size, right? And I can say I want an 8.5 by 11 portrait, landscape, whatever. And as soon as I click that, it resizes it for me. So that is the number one reason why. I think the second best reason is all of those templates. You get so many more options to choose from. And then there's lots of great reasons to upgrade to the Pro. But again, if you're not somebody who's using this every single day, and not every day, if you're not using this often, you can get by with the free version. I'm not saying you have to pay the $12 a month. You can totally do it for free. So let's walk through that. I am creating a website, right? So here's some different website templates in here. You can kind of go through, again, I can type in real estate if I want to find something specific to real estate. And you can see the different real estate website templates that are available. Now, I have 4 of them. I have 4 templates built out that I'm going to send you guys all the links for. So as long as you, I think Deidre got the sign-in sheet. But as long as you signed in, I will send you the links to the templates, and you can build it from my template here. All right, now let's go back to here. This one right here. So this is, again, we notice it's website. Website. This button is different. I have a button up here that says publish versus presentation. Presentation doesn't have a button up here that says publish website, right? So that's why we converted it to be a website, because now I have this button publish. I can hit preview so we can see what it looks like online. Here's what it looks like. It can be pretty nice. And this, again, this is a template. We did not change anything to it. This is exactly how it came. What you'll want to do is down here at the bottom right, there's something called grid view. So when I hit grid view, I can see all the pages separate. Kind of like how it was on presentation mode, where I can see each page separate. And I want to name them. Because remember I said each one of these slides or each one of these pages is a different tab. So maybe this one's about me, and this one is neighborhood, and this one is homes available, right? So each name, I'm gonna name each one of these pages. And that is going to, now that I hit preview, I have all of those tabs here at the top. So that's important, is making sure that each page is named. Because if you don't name it, you saw there was six other pages that I did not name. They don't pop up here. their content is still in here. So if I hit homes available, it takes me down to that particular page, right? It will take me to whichever page that I named, and I have all of the rest of them are still here. They just don't have a tab associated with it. And the tab it looks really clean, and it helps with a nice user experience as somebody's browsing through your website. Any questions on the naming? Again, how I got there is, here's my website, grid view. So bottom right, it might be kind of hard for you guys to see. Right here, there is the little squares. So I click grid view, and once I'm in here, I can name, right? I can name each tab. Now if I go back into presentation mode, right, you can see each one of these is also named, because you can name each one of these by clicking the 3 little dots, and then I can change whatever I want the name to be. So changing the name here. Alright, now let me show you, so the one that I have already built. Here's a preview of what this looks like.
I have a question. So after you finish naming all of them in the website version, where do you go to see them on the website? Because I click preview, but my tabs aren't showing up.
Okay, good question. So do you have right here, include navigation menu?
Got it.
Perfect. So yes, great question. If this right here at the bottom is saying include navigation menu, if it's deselected, you won't get the tabs. You have to select this button, include navigation menu, to have these pop up. So if I deselect it, right, those navigation tabs at the bottom are going to go away. But if I click that button, they'll all be here. So if I want to click down to primary suite, it takes me here. Backyard, if I want to go up to living room. So you see how each of those buttons kind of work? So in this example, you can see this is for a property. I think this is a really great tool to use, A, for just listing the home and having that single property website available, but 2, it's a really good thing to have in your back pocket going into like a listing presentation where you can show people, hey, I already built a website out for you, right? Of course, some of the photos might not be ready to go, and maybe you can pull some old existing photos that they have. But great to show people how easy, or not how easy, you don't want them to know how easy it is, but how doable it is for you guys to be able to build out a website for them. Something to note is on here, my very last slide, when this was first built, the gal who helped me with this, she put together a little brand kit of her own, just so she had the same colors and fonts ready to go. Just so you know, if you publish it, if it's on there, it's going to publish with the website. So you can't like pick and choose which ones you want to hide unless I actually go to hide page, right? I'd have to hide this to ensure it doesn't publish. So anything you have on this entire design, it will publish with it. So just be aware of that, right? Let's go back here. So I did click include navigation menu. Notice I did not click resize on mobile. Most of the time when you're building out a website, you want it to be mobile optimized, right? You want it to look great on the phone, because a lot of people are browsing on their phones, right? However, if you were to go on your phone and actually look at it, Canva has not perfected this yet. And you can see some of it looks good, no doubt. Some of it looks good, but some of it doesn't. Some of the text gets a little funky. Some of the pictures get a little cut off, as you can see right here. So I have refrained from using resize on mobile. It still looks okay on a mobile device. you can still see everything. So that's why I have deselected it. So play around with it. Try and say, okay, if I resize it to mobile, does it look good? And sometimes it may. Like I said, some of these pages actually look great, but some of them, the text looks a little bit funky. So just be aware of that before you publish. And to be safe, deselecting it will ensure that someone can see everything without it getting cut off. And you can toggle back and forth between desktop and mobile.
Yeah, so yeah, it's cut off, or not ideal if someone was looking on their phone. But is the version, because you put in the mobile view,
Yes.
when you go to like a laptop, is it also truncated?
No.
It'll
Nope.
be-
It's only when they're on
Only
when they're on their mobile device.
Okay.
Yep, it recognizes. Good question. Alright, so now we've kind of looked at the preview. Next step, right, is to publish website. And before we publish it, I want to show you back to presentation mode. If you were ever in presentation mode, remember, there's not that publish website button. That doesn't exist. So what a lot of people do is they will, here, you can do, right here, they'll click website, right? So they'll see this button, they'll be like, oh, I'm gonna make a website with this. So when they click website, some of the publishing settings aren't here. And let me go back into website mode and show you. Okay. Publish website here. You can, we already talked about resize on mobile, play with it, see how you like it, and then include navigation. We talked about that. Now, website URL. We're going to talk about this. Now, oops. Your URL is always going to be the same for anything you do. You have to, I'll show you, you set this up in your settings one time, but mine is chicagotitlemarketing.my.canva.site. You will all have my.canva.site. It will always include this if we're choosing the free option. Chicago Title Marketing, that's obviously unique to you, right? You get to choose what you want that domain to be. I would make it really generic. So, like generic in the sense where it could apply to many different websites. Originally, this was the first one that we built, I named it 5151 Earl. And I'm like, well, if I'm ever creating more websites, I don't want them all to be called 5151 Earl. That doesn't make sense. So I did something a little bit more generic, Chicago Title Marketing. And then again, my.canva.site at the end will always be there. And then the backslash. It's going to be a backslash, and I could do 5151 Earl Drive. Maybe that's what I want it to be. I've already done that, so I'm not going to use it again. But I can customize that end piece every new website I built. If you are a free user, you can, and I think they just changed it, 5. You can have 5 hosted websites for free. If you're a paid user, you can have as many as you want. So you have unlimited, that's the difference between a free and a paid user. Again, free, you can only host 5 for free at a time. Paid, you can do unlimited.
So we can just delete our GoDaddy accounts now?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Well,
signs up for renewal sometimes.
Yeah,
This is probably easier.
you totally could. Absolutely. The only thing I'm going to caution you on is think about, well, don't delete it until you claim a domain name here.
So you can just do like a realtor page too, right? Where you can have a landing thing
Yes.
for people to come check out.
Yes.
Through Canva.
Yes. Let me show you a couple other options, right? So if I say, I'm okay with this being my my URL, I can proceed as is. However, what if I'm like, I don't want it to say my.canva.site in there, right? Like that piece, it's fine. It's just kind of a giveaway that you built it through Canva, right? So if I don't want it to say that, I can do get new domain, and you can buy one.
Okay. Or for your own end.
You can buy one for $18.99 a year, and I'll show you what that looks like. Or you can take one that is already existing that you have, like let's say you've always been LindsaySanchezHomes.com's forever and you don't want to rebrand that, you want to keep that. You can bring that over and connect it here. But again, you have to see the crown feature. That's a paid feature. So if I wanted to buy a new one here, I can hit buy new, continue, and it's gonna see if it's available. So again, Lindsay Sanchez Digital Marketing. Let's see if that's available. Sure is. And so I could claim it. .net is $22, .org is $22. It gives you some other options. If it wasn't available, it would give you some other suggestions, right? So if I were to say Arizona patio homes, I'm sure something like that is claimed somewhere. Okay, it's not. It's available. But I was going to see if there was any other suggestions. Arizona deck homes or whatever. It'll give you other suggestions of what you could get. So those are the two. So technically there's three options, right? Option one, use what they give you for free, including it's going to be my.canva.site will be in there. You get to choose the beginning. You get to choose the end. You don't like that option? The other two options are buy a domain, whatever you want that's available, and they'll host it for you here. Or you can bring over one that's already existing.
So it's free hosting, just not free domain. So if I went to GoDaddy and I want to get a domain live, I got to pay them $20 plus $30 a year to host
Correct.
it. So with Canva, you could have these subdomains that I just didn't renew because I had too many of them.
But just remember, it's only available for paid users.
Right.
Right. So yes, I guess.
For if you had like your real estate page and then your listings, would you have to pay for a new domain every time for the listing, or would you put that? You know what I mean? Or would
So here's the tricky part with if you were to just kind of say, I'm going to convert my existing website to this, is a lot of your existing websites has an IDX search where it's like pulling from the MLS or wherever it's pulling from. Canva, I don't believe, has that functionality to do that at this point. So you would have to create a new page per, whether it's another tab or it's another additional website, landing page, you would have to create that per because it's not going to pull in what the IDX would typically do on a website. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So I can't get rid of my GoDaddy.
No, I wouldn't yet. Yes.
So just to clarify, even though this is a website, it kind of functions more like a landing page because you got it.
Yeah, it really does. And there are ways that we can insert like form fills, right? To where you could create, and I'll show you if you guys want to see that when we start to build these out. You could like create like a little form fill. It's a box where people are putting in their information. And then when they start to put that out, they click on it, right? And it will go to Google Forms or it will go to your CRM. However you want to integrate that, there are ways to do that. That's definitely like a next step.
So you
right?
can have a set up appointment with me and put your Calendly link in there.
Yep.
Or
Yeah, you can include links. So I guess, what I'm saying is you can include links, you can include videos. Go ahead.
So if my IDX is on a separate website anyway, so my name, I just have to direct it fully to that where we have the,
Totally. You can
So
do that.
I could just cancel that redirect and put that as a link in here.
Yep.
Say, here's my website. If you want to see all the homes, click here, and it's going to be
you
this.
can totally do that. That's a great idea. I like that. But yes, in your website, you can put links, you can put videos. Obviously, we see you can put photos in here. I'll show you. So let me go back. We're back to publish. We're just going to stick with what I have here. Publish settings. So when you go into publish settings, you get to add some SEO into this, right? So I 100% would recommend everybody to not skip this step. First one is your browser tab preview. So notice each one of these tabs up here, right? They have a a name. So this one says selling a home. This one says Scottsdale neighborhood. So these are really, these do play into SEO, as well as it just helps again with the user experience to kind of know which tab you're on because they're named. So you can come up here and you can edit whatever I want it to be, right? That's definitely Arcadia. You can name your browser tab. Then in your description, right, you have 160 characters to talk about what essentially this is. So I want to say magical home in Arcadia, located in Phoenix, Arizona, right? 4 bedrooms, 5 bathrooms, and etc. We can talk about what this website is about. And again, utilize keywords here that maybe somebody could search in Google to where your website could potentially pop up. So don't skip out on this step. This is a really important step if you're trying to attract outside traffic. If you are just using this for like, I just want to have this to go into my seller presentation and I don't need the world to see this. This is kind of just for me and my client only. Then that's a different story. And here, in advanced settings, you would change some of the settings here. There is one where it's password protected, so only somebody who has a password could view this. You could turn off that it's not going to show in a Google search, essentially. So I have it turned on to where, yes, I do want this to pop up if someone were to go to Google and type in Arcadia Homes in Phoenix, 4 bedrooms, right?
If you're doing it for a listing presentation, you may want that off because you don't have a listing yet.
Exactly, right? If it's live, different story. But here, so you can toggle if you want this to pop up in a Google search or not. So play with that. And then lastly, if you've ever noticed, if you're on Facebook, right, and you want to share a link to something, there will be like a little thumbnail that pops up that shows a little preview of what that website is and people can click on it. So you can determine if you want a little thumbnail to pop up on social media pages if you were to share this, Facebook, LinkedIn, etc. So you can choose if you want this or not. Any question on any of these settings?
So let's assume I have CraigHarlan.com. I do, but let's assume I throw that and start using it here. So then I could go to CraigHarlan.com, 5151 East Earl, and it's only if they have that whole thing, that's all they're going to see. And then I can have CraigHarlan.com, which would be just my general about me.
Yep.
So unless I did a redirect to that, they wouldn't see that.
Correct, if it wasn't included on the original design that you built. Yeah. Any other questions on the settings? Yeah.
On the website description, you said it kind of functions as an SEO. Is that
Yeah.
something that anybody sees, or can you
No.
be strategic about just like
Strategic.
keywords only?
Strategic,
not
nobody's going to
sentences?
see it. Yep,
Okay.
exactly.
Unless they search them.
Alright, so I can then publish it. Oops. And it just takes a few seconds, as you can see here, to publish this design. So here's your URL. You can view my website. And it's ready to go, right? Now also, let's say the listing is live and you want to show something to your sellers that you've done this. Up here, there's an insights button where you can get some data. Obviously I just did this, so there's nothing at the moment. But let's see, unless, no. So views, traffic, engagement. You can share the data with whomever you need to share that with, which is really great that it tracks all that. It can say what country are they coming from. That doesn't really help us here. But devices, you get a little bit of insight in here. So again, that's that bar graph here at the top. click that button and you get some insight. Let me show you a couple others that I had built here. So this was, and these were built at the beginning of this year, so things probably have changed since the beginning of this year. This was a selling one. All of these templates that I'm showing you guys, I will send that out to you. Alright, so here is a little bit about the process of what people can expect. Yeah, again, this was at the beginning of the year, so this is going to be a little different. I have a why work with me, about the brokerage, marketing plan. Obviously, we don't want to talk about, I wouldn't even put anything about money for now in here. But basically, the point is, this kind of template is a little bit built out. So I would recommend, if you were to receive this template and you'd want to use it, repurpose it with your branding, right? Use your colors, your fonts. Obviously, the content itself is probably going to look a little bit different. And then, of course, at the bottom, all the information about the brokerage and about yourself. I got all sorts of things in here. There's a lot of pages. Utilize that, yeah.
So where are there like tons of templates? Like I want to make a trifold piece of paper,
Oh, yeah.
or like is that like just a huge?
Yeah, there are. Let's see. Let me show you. So in here, let's see, trifold brochure. Right here. So yes, there are lots of different. So I wanted to.
Where was that? I'm sorry.
So I just went to the search. So if I'm going home, so this is home, right?
Okay.
Right here at the very top where there's a search, I just typed in trifold brochure. And as I
have one
scroll
in
down.
person too. Sorry.
Oh, you have that
But I literally, I made this in Canva.
Oh, that's amazing.
And I printed it through Canva, and it's incredible.
I
Super
love
quality.
that.
Yeah.
Great, we've got our own little demo here. It's perfect. So you can see it, right? It's already sized for that trifold. And then to her point, you can, if you want to, you can print 100 trifolds for $86. Depends on what kind of finish you do of the paper. Also, which at Chicago Title we have our printing services that we can help you with as well. But lots of
It's on the hall.
yeah, not in here. Lots of designs. And I want to point out to you though, you
The
see
little
pro, right? So this one, these couple here, those are free, right? So you've got some free options for sure. But a lot of them, you'll notice, more than they don't, they have the crown on there. So those are your paid options.
And you can they give you free QR codes too.
Yeah?
So with the pro option, you can do free QR codes on your brochure to your website.
Yep, exactly. So just remember with a QR code, if it's a print material, if it's tangible in hand, it's great to put QR codes on it. If it's a digital, you don't need to put a QR code because you're already online, right?
Yeah.
So I'll show you, just because we're here. Let's say this is the one I'm doing. How to do that QR code since we're talking about it. When you're in a design, and let's say, I've gone through and I've edited whatever I want to say. I've changed everything out, and I'm ready to put a QR code on it. There's a little button here. Let me scroll down. There's a button that says apps. When you go into apps, there's so many. But if I type in QR code, you can see there's many. I just click the first one here, QR code. And let's say I want this to go to Chicago, Title, Arizona. That's where I want people to be directed to, right? So it's going to generate, and that's it. So right now, if I were to scan this QR code, it goes to Chicago Title, Arizona, right? So, yeah, you would, again, you just go into, when you're on your design, you go into apps. I typed in QR code. I just selected the first one here, and then you're going to type in where you want to direct people to. Yeah, and then of course I can, obviously I don't want it that big, so I can make it smaller. I can move it to maybe the back of my brochure, somewhere over here. That's what she did on hers. That was kind of a little bonus trick in there, is that QR code. But again, I would only do that on print marketing, because if it's digital, right, they can just click a link to something. They're not gonna scan it when it's already on the computer. Okay, so back to, we talked about the seller presentation. I have a buyer one. This one definitely you'll want to update, because again, this was done at the beginning of the year. You'll want to kind of see how this looks differently. And then another one I did is a neighborhood community one, right? So you can maybe create a landing page per city, per community that you work in, and you can kind of just do a all about, this one's all about Scottsdale, we could do all about McDowell Mountain Ranch, right? You can get very specific, and so that way people think of you as like you're the expert in that space. So on this one, I put in a video. It's kind of hard to tell that it's moving because you can kind of see the people there are walking around on that golf course. But I put a video at the top. I'll show you how to do that. And then all about Scottsdale, demographics, right? Here you can link your properties, right? So if I hit view more, well, I just threw it to our website. Bless you. View more, and I'll show you how to edit this. It's going to go directly to the property, maybe on MLS, or if you have it anywhere else. I've listed different dining, things to do, shopping, schools, golf courses. You see lots of fun things all about what it's like to live in this community. So let's go. I'm going to show you. Publish. I guess I called it this. Republish this site.
I like that. Best snow in a while.
Oh yeah, there are 3 responses to a piece of design. I love all these quotes that they always have up here. They're entertaining while you're waiting. So view website. So again, we'll go to real estate market tab. And then you can see right here, I did a view more. And so whatever destination I want to send people to, if they want to preview more, right? This one took them to Chicago Title, Arizona. You could take them anywhere you want. But of course, this is something you would have to edit every so often, right? You'd have to update this to ensure that this is all accurate. So I go in here. Let's edit it. And I'm going to go down to that page. Zoom on in here. What I'm doing on that view more button, I'm going to click on this. And this, maybe I don't want it to go to Chicago Title. Maybe I want it to go to google.com, right? Wherever you want it to go to, make sure you're sending it to a different destination. And now, when they click view more, it will go to Google instead of it going to Chicago Title. So pretty much you can always click on the text. So maybe, let's find a piece of text in here. Maybe right here. This is where I want to click on this text. more, I go to link, and then again, I want to send this to google.com. And then now, any piece of text that I want to hyperlink somewhere, I can do that. So Craig, to kind of do your ideas that you had there.
You can see other properties.
Yep,
Go
and
to
it
that,
doesn't
yeah.
necessarily even have to be text, it could be this photo, right? So if I wanted to click on that photo, I click on it, and then I hit the three dots, and then I go to link. So again, click on your element, whether it's text, video, image, you click on it, you hit 3 dots, and you go to link. And then again, I'm gonna type in wherever I want this to go to, and then I'm just gonna hit enter.
But you would need a more specific address than Google.com.
Yeah.
I'm thinking
Yeah,
you get
I'm just thinking in my mind, like if I were to publish this right now, I want to make sure I'm just not being
Not doing
biased
anything.
and showing
So
anyone
the-
something crazy.
For agents who don't pay for a separate IDX and you want to do a single property website, you can easily put a link. You can get you can get a URL to your Flex MLS. That's just yours. So that's the free. It's not free, but you
Yeah,
already paid
no,
your
I know
dues.
what you're saying.
But for
A
those of you
workaround.
who don't have a separate IDX, you could set up a search for other homes in Scottsdale on the IDX and Flex and
Yeah.
link it, see other homes.
And a lot of people do that.
Yeah.
A lot, like when I have seen other agents.
I'm trying to figure out how to do it on the cheap because I've been paying for all that and I'm trying to retire.
Right,
so
right.
I'm
There's
like
no
that.
need to
Yeah.
have something fancy, right?
Right.
Yeah. But yes, you can totally do that.
Yeah.
Again, it doesn't necessarily have to be text. It could be an image, be anything. As long as you click on it, you hit the 3 dots, and you go to link, then it will become hyperlinked on the website. So if someone clicked on it. But obviously, on this example here, I'm prompting people to click on that, right? I've highlighted view more, so that kind of tells people that's your call to action to click on this if they want to see more. If I were to maybe have hyperlinked that and not called it out, people might not have known that I'm supposed to click on this. But because this is a call to action, people can kind of assume, oh, if I click here, it will show me more about that property. So yeah, you can hyperlink anything, like I said, but this will call it out if you kind of write that. Any questions on the hyperlinking? Anything? All right, the video. So inserting the video here, how I got this is in Elements. When I click on Elements, so if you're newer to Canva, everything you see on here, on this whole design, that is an element. So this is an element, this is an element, like all of these little pieces that I've added. So text, videos, photos, if I did shapes, somebody obviously was in here doing chili peppers, right? Each one of these is an element. And when I'm in Elements,
Where was the button originally for Elements?
on the left. So this toolbar here on the left, you can kind of see.
Yeah.
So you have, the design is all your templates. Elements is right below it. And you know what, yours might look a little different. Sometimes people have them in different orders, so you might have to scroll to find Elements. Yes, and that's it. That's you have to be in an existing project. So if I'm just home, like if I'm just on Canva.com, right? You won't have that same toolbar on the left. You have to be in a design itself.
Okay.
Let me get rid of that. Get rid of this. Where was I? Here. You have to be in the design itself, and then you'll see Elements on the left. Now, as I scroll through, there's photos, there's a whole section of videos. So if I go into videos, I can type in Phoenix, Arizona. And these are all stock videos. So there's some drone footage. You get a lot of drone footage in here. But, again, notice there's the crown, right? So a lot of videos are only used for, or available for paid users.
Can you upload your own?
You can upload your own, absolutely. So again, there's the upload section over here on the left. So you could, if you had your own drone footage from a listing or just something that you've had saved, you can totally upload your own instead. But the nice thing is, if you don't, let's say, for example, my little guide about Scottsdale, I mean, there's not a ton, but there's definitely some footage in here. This one, as you can see, is the one I chose that you can use to highlight in. And maybe it doesn't even have to be Scottsdale. Maybe I just want golf course. Maybe I want to do a whole page dedicated to golf courses. And obviously, you can tell some of these places aren't Scottsdale, but something like this, where it's just zoomed up on the whole, right? Not the surrounding area. You could use something like that. Lots of free, well, if you're a paid user, lots of videos for you to be able to choose from, which is nice.
You could probably put desert there also.
Oh
as a
yeah,
golf
I could
course
type
and
in,
get-
I will say when I do desert, desert golf. Yeah, I was gonna say, when I do desert, I always get like
Sahara.
desert. Yeah.
I was thinking
Desert golf.
This
This one, some of them, right?
Yeah.
But lots of stock. Let's see if I can do, if I just do free ones. There's a few, right? You get a few options. They're not all paid, but it's definitely less. Any questions on the video piece? And again, so if let's say I want to use this, maybe I want to use this one, I could just click on it, and I'm going to drag it right there. And now I've just interchanged that, right? I've just put that on here instead. And if I click on it again, let's see, you can change, I'm double clicking it, right? If I want less of the mountain, more of the mountain, I can change what part of it I want. Yeah, lots of little tools. I can make it a little less if I want it a little transparent, not as bold. Lots of little editing tools in here. Any questions on that piece?
Can you change the length of the video if you don't like
Yes,
the
you totally can, and that's what I was just trying to, it's not in the position. Usually it's at the very bottom, so let me click on here. I'm wondering if because I'm in this website mode, it's not giving me that option. But yes, you can. You just need to figure out exactly where. Because if I was in presentation mode, and let's say I added in this video at the very bottom, or right here, you can trim, and you can choose like how much of it you want to use. I only want 12 seconds of it. I want, however, 21 seconds of it. I'm just curious why that little option isn't available in website mode. It might be because we're in website mode. Which is why at the beginning I was saying, why would anyone go through the hassle of going presentation, then converting it to website? Is I just feel like it's a little bit easier to navigate in presentation mode and then convert it when it's all said and done, personally, but that could be an example here.
Would it be the little pencil that's next to it on the left-hand side? Yeah.
No, that's like to edit the notes. I know you can. I'm just like, where the heck did they put it? I'm not sure. Must be something I'll have to play with later. Okay, now from picking out your template, whether we started with website or we started with presentation, remember here's your two different options, all the way through, right? Once you have that template created, you can come in here and you can edit all the things out, right? Make it your own. So if orange isn't my color, I want to make it green, and I want to change my name. and I don't like this photo, so I'm gonna swap that out with video instead, right? So I can come in and I just start to tweak all the things. So that's gonna be your most time consuming part, is tweaking what the existing template is and making it your own, right? I don't want green, I want it to be orange. So going through and making all your edits, that's gonna be the most time consuming part. And then once it's all said and done, we're doing publish. Once you hit publish website, we're gonna work on the name, and then we're gonna work on the settings. So remember, in the settings, you can put your SEO description in here, your advanced settings. Do we want it to be password protected? Do we want it to show up on a search engine? And then we publish that. Oops. So, any questions on kind of the steps that it will take to get here? Now it's just kind of playing around. So what I want to do is make sure that you guys all have the templates and we can kind of work on that. And I'll go around and help everyone with it. It's like there's one other thing I think I wanted to show you, but it'll come to me. So give me a second. I have all of your guys' emails, I think, right up here. And so I'm going to send that out right now to each person. Have it all queued up. Okay. And then, so those are the 4 that I showed you. I have templates ready to go, and then I'll just start to write you all in here. Craig, there you are again, Craig.
Lindsay, Lindsay, right? I have a quick question.
Yeah.
So with the branding, the colors and the fonts, it only changed the colors of like the lettering, or what colors does it change?
Do you mean like so when I'm on here, right, and I want to change something, are you saying, is it changed like the color of the text?
Right, so when I choose my branding colors, like what?
Oh, for brand kit?
Yeah.
Got it. Okay, let me show you. So if I go into brands, so my brand kit right here, so if I hit shuffle, what this is going to do is this is going to turn my whole presentation into my brand colors. So, right there.
Oh, the back.
Right?
The background.
Shuffle. So sometimes you're going to have to play with it and it looks a little goofy.
Gotcha.
I just keep hitting shuffle. So that's one thing. Another though is when I'm changing, let's say I want to change the color of the text. If I go to text color, my brand colors are always going to be at the top, right? They're pinned right here. So maybe I want this one to be gray, but I want this to be yellow, right? Whether you're changing text or this little square that's back here, you can individually choose each element to be different. I mean, it will take you some time, of course, but you can go through and change each one individually. Or if you're changing the full thing, when you go into brands, that's where that shuffle, sometimes that can look a little funky, especially on something like this. I would only do that maybe for like a flyer with not a lot on it. But you can see here in that brand kit how I have all of my logos stored, so that way I could easily put it on here at any point. All of my colors are stored in here. I can add more if need be. My fonts, and then any existing templates that I have saved that I use on a regular basis. Does that help answer your question?
Yes.
Okay,
Thank you so much.
All right, so Debbie, is it obrock-deborah at Gmail?
Obrock.Deborah.
Oh, is it dot or dash?
Dot.
Okay, dot. Deborah at Gmail.
Yes.
Perfect. Alright. Sorry guys, I'm gonna do this as fast as I can. I would just start for now, if you guys wanna start playing with some of the presentation or website and just look at some of the templates that are available. Like I said, you can type in real estate and it will pull it up. Anna, what is the letter before sold? Sold by Anna.
Sold by Anna Holcomb.
Oh, there's just nothing before sold?
No.
Okay. Sold by Anna Holcomb. Gotcha.
I don't think they've signed it.
Okay, I'll get you for sure. Sold by Anna. HOLCOMBE
Yes.
Gmail. Perfect.
That's what happens when you're on your phone.
Freddie, what is the beginning of your email?
Lady Fred song.
Lady
Lady
Fred.
Fred.
Okay, perfect. I'm like, what is that? Lady, I like that. Lady Fred.
Can't miss my card.
Lady Fred sells at Gmail. Okay. Everyone's Gmail. I like it. Oh, I know. I have one other thing I came to me with what I'm going to show you. Remind me if I forget. I'm going to show you how to set that domain, that like at the beginning part where it was Chicago Title Marketing .my.canva.site, how to set that up in your settings. That's what I wanted to show you. Brenda B Sales AZ. That's what it is. Brenda B Sales. Perfect. Annabelle. Is it Annabelle M Real Estate? Yes. Perfect. Annabelle M. K. Watson Homes. Jose, is it Jose? I'm sorry, I'm trying to read this a little bit better.
Jose Barbosa?
Is it 444?
Yeah.
Okay. 444. Amber. Is it Amber at K dot or Amber
Dash.
at K
Dash Grant.
dash grant? Is it .com?
Yeah.
Perfect. And then Katie at KatieHendersonAZ.com. Yay. And then what was yours that you didn't have on here?
All right. Yeah.
Perfect. Thank you. else that wasn't on the sign-in sheet? I think you all got it. Perfect. Looks like you guys got pizza. Thank you. Perfect. Easy to read. Yeah. There's an H in there. Alright. Send. Alright, now, while that's sending to you guys, I want to show you in your settings. Alright, so really quick actually, before we proceed, if anybody uses Canva with a Teams account, so meaning you have right here on the right, you would have multiple, like I have multiple teams where we can access each other's designs. Sometimes, like in a group setting, sometimes that will happen. Just so you know, they're like tripling the price of that starting January. So I got an alert that our account was going to go up in pricing quite a bit. And so we're going to scratch the Teams thing and just each person do an individual pro plan. Just so you know if that happens to you. Okay, so in your settings, alright, yeah. I just gotta remember exactly where I put it. Or where it is in your settings. Domains. In domains, on the left, this is where you set that up. So you've never set yours up, it might give you an opportunity to set that up. I can always edit it. So at any point, if I don't want it to be Chicago Title Marketing anymore, I can come in here, I can change what that is, and then I can come through and I can see all the different ones that I have. I've got a lot. But notice, they all start with Chicago Title Marketing, .my.canva.site, and remember we edited that last bit after the dash. And that's what's unique to each one of these, is they're all a little bit different, but the beginning is always the same. So again, you went into settings, and then on the bottom, domains. If you've never done it before, I don't know if it's maybe a setup button.
If you have to publish your website first, is what it tells me.
Okay. So there you go. Once you do your first one, it's going to take whatever you put in the first time, and then if, let's say, later down the road, again, you don't like that, you can come in here and you can edit. And just note right here what it says. If I'm editing this, all of these are going to change. And so if anyone had that existing URL saved, it would be a broken link at that point. So kind of nice if the first time you're doing it, that's a good thing to know. The first time you're doing your very first website, pick something that you think you would want it to be for any existing sites later down the road. And remember that last bit.
So it sounds like it's going to handle the forwarding. I'm not going to have to go into GoDaddy and forward it if I pick one that I already own.
Well, if you already own it and it already exists somewhere, well, no.
All I have is just redirected somewhere else, so I don't care about that going
Yeah.
away if I'm going to use it.
So it's something that you already own.
Already own it through GoDaddy,
Yep.
so I don't have to buy one.
Right. But remember, this one that you're setting up for free for the first time is going to have my.canva.site. So it's going to be different.
But I thought.
But you can
when I'm
use-
setting it up, I could
you
use
can.
my Your Phoenix Homes.
Totally. You would pick that additional selection, where it's instead of this, you would do get new domain, and you would use your own, right?
Yeah.
And so at that point, when I continue, it's going to, what is it, Greg?
Your Phoenix Homes, I think, was one of the last ones I haven't.
YourPhoenixHomes.com.
Yeah.
So then at that point, it's going to have me auto connect with GoDaddy,
Okay.
right? So then you
So
have to
I'll log
log
into
into your
GoDaddy.
GoDaddy, exactly. Yeah. So so it has to obviously be your login credentials because it's yours, right? But just to go back to where we just were, I went into settings in my account at the very bottom, domain. So if you ever need to change it, I'm gonna delete that. This is my domain through Canva, and all the other pages I create from here on out will always be this / whatever I call it. Does that make sense? Cool. All right, now, so I sent the templates out. Did everyone receive that email? Perfect. If you have any questions, I'm here. Let me know. And again, you don't even have to use any of those templates. That's just if you want like a good starting point. You can totally use those or browse through their 20,000 that they have.
So if it says see lots of teams right here, I don't want it. That's what to the domain. But you said the team is like gonna switch.
No, I think that's just the way you name it. So go to Canva. And then click this little down button. Yeah, you aren't part of the team. So it's just you by yourself. If there was, you would see the multiple teammates in here.
Okay.
But it's just you. So
as long as I just tell that I don't have to.
yep,
Okay.
you'll be fine. And also, if you are a Teams user, you would have gotten an email saying
The price is going up.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm thinking shorter term, so I just didn't pay my annual renewal. I went back to $12.99 a month.
Yeah, the monthly.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just $1.
Well, you get 12 months for 120 versus
Right,
10
so,
months.
yeah.
for
This is
129.
300.
Basically 2
You
months.
did it for what?
Why does the phrase 300 for the year?
If they increase the price on
Yeah.
that too?
Yeah, just to the
Okay.
Yeah,
But
it's
it's
giving
Well,
me.
guess they're increasing the prices on all of them.
yeah. But I mean,
Yeah. It's definitely worth it if you are using it. But I know sometimes it's like
still only
there's-
120 for a year, so
there's-
you might be showing up as a team.
oh really?
Let's go.
Yeah. When I clicked through after I went down to the.
Yeah, because even, let's see.
I already messed up.
Yeah, it's telling me. Let's go to, unless, what it is right now. So this is the one I have on the screen right here. This one, Canva Pro, for one person is the one that you should be on. 120. This one, you may have done Teams, because I see right here, it would be 300 for the year if you invited 2 other people to join it with you.
Okay.
So I would contact sales and just say, hey, I am setting this up for the first time. I clicked the wrong one. They'll help you get to the right one. And if they don't, then you say, okay, I'm canceling altogether.
Yeah.
But they will. And one other thing to note, this is just like a general Canva tip, not necessarily websites. I prefer to build any design on my computer and not on my phone. Because everyone, I mean, there's the Canva app that you can have on your phone. I think it's way too small, and it's really hard to navigate. You're like trying to move everything with your finger. I think it's a pain in the butt. So I prefer to do all my designs here on my laptop. And then at any point, let's say I was doing a social media post, right? I build the social media post here. And then when I'm ready, I download it from my app to my phone to save to my camera on my phone. So that's the only time I ever use the app. Otherwise, I think here is a lot easier. Yeah.
Can you resend me?
The link? Yeah. Sure. Let me forward this off to you. And can you just tell me the email?
S. Ravel 45.
Is it 2 S's? Oh, just one. S R
AVAL 45.
45 at Gmail?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I'm sending it to you again. Check. It looks like it did go through to you the first time, so just check. Maybe junk or something.
No, I by mistake deleted it.
Oh, okay, good. Just resent it. All right. Well, if there's any other questions, let me know. Like Kelly mentioned, the CPR classes start in here in 8 minutes, so if you guys want to stick around for that. And the pizza.
There's a different question.
How do I get my brand colors to show up?
Sure. Like throughout the entire website?
Yes.
So you would hit right here, shuffle, and then it's better to look at the other pages. Right, so as I hit shuffle, she's not really making a whole bunch of a difference. Like that, yeah, we wouldn't want it to be purple. But as I hit shuffle, it kind of changes and like mixes those up.
Okay.
Let's see. But again, you can individually, like let's say on this home page, if you wanted just that piece of text to be different, I could click text color and I could say, oh, I want that to be purple, right? Or black or gray, right? You can choose each individual piece. So yeah, but it looks like on here, because there's so many photos, the photos obviously aren't going to change color. Just the text is going to change. Maybe that little line might change colors. But the photos itself won't change. So that's. Let's go back to where it's.
So when you say landing page, I've always been confused
Thank
about
you very
landing page. Is that the first page of your website? Is that what a
Not
landing page is
necessarily.
called?
So the reason it's called landing page, you might also hear it used as like lead capture, is where it's just somewhere to direct somebody to. So let's say you saw a Facebook ad, and you see this Facebook ad, and there's like some shoes you're interested in buying. When you click on that, you're landing to an additional page, right? So it's somewhere else that you're going to. It could be a full-blown website. It could just be one page. You know how there's like multiple pages within a website? Sometimes it's just one, sometimes it's multiple, but it's wherever you're directing somebody to. It's kind of a better way to think of it. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Lindsay,
Yes.
you mentioned that there's a way to capture like leads information.
Yes. So that will be kind of a bigger task where essentially you would create, let's see, let me come back in here real quick. On this one. So maybe I want to create like a little form fill. There's something on here, there's tables. So maybe just one. Oops. And so I can use Let me delete this really quick. So maybe I have created this little element, and this is a table where I want to have people fill out their information in something like this. What I would do then, if this was the lead capture section, I would hit more, and I would link them. There should be a link button. Well, essentially, you would link the element to Google Forms, or you wouldn't create the actual form fill in Canva. It's just the element itself where somebody clicks on it, and then it directs them to, like I said, it could be a Google sheet, a Google form, if you've ever seen what that looks like. Where people can fill out that information, and once they get into the Google form, then they'll fill it out right there. And I have a video of somebody who has set that up before, so I can send that to you.
Oh, please.
I'll make note when the team, because I know Deidre said there was a couple things she wanted to send you, to send out that video with it, so you can see the step by step.
Perfect.
But essentially what you're doing is you create an element, people click on that element, and once they click on it, it will take them to the lead capture. If that makes sense.
Yes, I
Okay.
appreciate it. Thank you.
Yeah. Well, we're wrapping up, Kelly. We're done.
Thank you.
Yeah.